Your WavyOcho. Gonna react to Kane in 2003 was pure evil.
When Kane made his debut in 1997, the wrestling world was introduced to a monster, a 7-foot giant who looked like a demon who would walk around killing everyone and everything, from setting his own brother on fire to attacking the entire roster with an iconic mask, the outfit, the theme, the pyro. From day one, Kane was on another level. And as the years went by and after many special moments, Kane became one of the most beloved wrestlers in the company, and as time went by, he went from trying to kill his brother to teaming up with him, and he went from being the evil demonic monster to eventually becoming the big friendly giant of the WWE. By 2003, Kane was out here doing Hulk Hogan impressions, doing the spinner Rooney, being a hungry hippo. Kane slowly became just another regular wrestler. But in '03, that was about to change. The company felt it was time to make Kane Kane again. It was time for the big red machine to return to his old ways. They wanted Kane to...
This time without a mask, though. Without the mask and shit.
Be a savage again. He needed a monster, and in the summer of '03, after all the comedy skits and bits, after becoming just another regular ass wrestler, it was time for all hell to break loose, and I don't think anyone could have predicted how insane things were going to get. It all began when Kane was standing in the ring on Monday Night Raw in Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. After losing a world title match against Triple H, this was a night where Kane was finally going to take his mask off. The mask he had worn in every single appearance since 1997, the mask that was his identity, the mask that made Kane Kane, was finally coming off. And as he stood there with his back turned to the camera with his mask in his hands, one of the most awesome heel runs of all time officially began. Kane took his mask off, chokeslammed his former friend RVD, did his legendary pose with the most intense pyro we had seen, and Kane was in the cut, and it was...
Damn, look at his hair and all that shit, bro. I even know that... Probably that's just real hair. I don't know. Like, but is that if that is, bro? Damn, he needed to cut that shit. He needed to cut that shit. I ain't gonna lie.
A scary sight. No more jokes. The fun and games were over. And to simply put it, Kane in 2003 was pure evil, and it was awesome. Let's get into it. Yo, Kane took that mask off and instantly Raw became his show. Raw no longer felt like you were watching a wrestling show. This shit was now a horror movie. The next week on Raw, during a world title match between RVD and Triple H, with everyone on the stage fighting and brawling, Kane pulled up like he was straight from hell, like the devil spawned himself. This man almost became a mass murderer with the fireworks alone, and he showed up for the first time since taking his mask off, and he almost blew up everyone on the damn stage. All you see is Evolution running and crawling for their lives trying to get away as Kane walks out looking like prime Hannibal Lecter. One of the coolest visuals you'll ever see in wrestling, and this psycho goes to RVD and you're like, oh, he's about to kill his boy. But nah, he grabs Eric Bischoff, the general manager of Raw, and chokeslams his ass off the stage, just killing him, leaving him wasted, wiping him out, and the crowd goes crazy. And the show ends with this insane camera shot. This shot just zooming into this monster's face after he just caught a body, and I was like, yo, welcome to the Kane Show. And that is one epic way to introduce a character. And this was just the beginning, because every week after this, Kane just got crazier and crazier. The next episode, I shit you not, throughout the night, there are bodies being found backstage, and they all look like violent crime scenes. Tommy Dreamer is dead, Rico is dead, everyone and their mom is dead. And as a result, it was up to Stone Cold Steve Austin to confront Kane. And as Austin comes out in a good mood and tries to convince Kane that the...
Kane just breaking everybody up. Kane just breaking niggas up, bro. Damn.
Fans do love him. He doesn't need to feel ashamed of taking his mask off, and that he shouldn't lash out because of it. Kane thinks Austin is laughing at him, and just like that, well, Kane took it personally. Kane starts attacking Stone Cold and they begin brawling, and Austin goes off on him. He grabs a chair and proceeds to beat the shit out of Kane. He gives them all the CTE with a chair shot. Kane is busted wide open, he's done, he's laid out, it's a wrap. But nah, cause he ain't a wrestler anymore, he's a monster. Kane sits up like it's 1998 and boom, down goes Austin. It was clear, yo, nobody was safe. There was a killer on the loose and the destruction was just beginning. Because the next week, it was time for a new victim. On the next episode of Raw, it was time for Kane to seek professional help. It was time for an intervention, and poor
Oh yeah, I remember this. I remember this segment.
Moss was put up to the task. Jim Ross had the unfortunate duty of having to interview Kane, and poor Jim was basically acting as his therapist, trying to once again convince him that people do love him, there's no need to go crazy, and that everything will be okay. Now the question is, did any of that help Kane? Of course not. Kane yells, "You need to feel my pain," and the same man who brought gasoline to an interview, surprise, sets Jim Ross on fire. Everyone from Austin to the camera crew to Jim Ross's mom, everyone was begging him not to do it, and burn, baby, burn, Jim Ross is on fire. He was rolling around, all you hear is ah, ah, and Kane was just there laughing. Totally normal behavior as Jim Ross gets turned into barbecue on live television. At this point, Kane had become an absolute lunatic, and nobody was safe. In less than a month, the company turned Kane from this big friendly giant that we all loved to this sick freak. This storyline, this character arc was just generational, because the next time Kane appeared on Raw, he had the most fire entrance, literally, of all time. Raw came back from commercial break, pyro exploded, his banger of a theme played, and Kane came to the ring escorted by a bunch of police officers and
mad shankles around his body, bro. Got shankles and shit.
Handcuffs and
shackles. After weeks of committing
atrocities, this is how Kane had to pull up to Raw, and it's just the most badass, one of the coldest things we've ever seen in wrestling. You will be hard pressed to find a better entrance than this. I think the word that kids use these days is aura, and 03 Kane had all of the aura. Kane was being escorted to the ring like he was a mass murderer, and honestly, at this point, he basically was. Raw no longer felt like a wrestling show. This was a show that revolved around a psychopath, an unhinged monster, and Raw now felt like a horror movie. From bodies being found around the arena, to nobody being saved, to the legendary entrance. This was different, this was special, and like I said, this was truly generational. And of course, that night after being unleashed by the police, he just goes out there and destroys RVD. He takes him to the stage, he throws him against the stage, and almost blows up the stage again. A bunch of referees and agents come out, they try to save RVD. At this point, it's like Kane has a 4-star wanted level, the SWAT team is here, it's getting wild, and it's like, I don't know what the do you think Arn Anderson's gonna do, because Kane is out here using all the cheat codes. Kane's squad wipes the entire stage and then proceeds to get his hands on Linda McMahon. Kane grabs a 55-year-old lady by her neck and tombstones her on the stage. He just casually tombstones the CEO of the company and stands there and smiles, and that's how Monday Night Raw ended on this hot summer night
in the summer of 03. Hide your CEO, hide your Jim Ross, hide your general manager, hide everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, 03 Kane was legendary. Kane in just over a month had turned Monday Night Raw into a horror movie and became one of the best heels we had ever seen, arguably better than his 1997 run. But every movie, as we know, needs a protagonist, somebody that stands up to evil, somebody that fights the good fight. But the question was, which idiot was crazy enough to get into war with this maniac, with this monster? Well, I present to you Shane McMahon. Once he tombstoned Linda, the storyline evolved into Linda's one and only son coming back to the company after a 2-year hiatus to avenge his mom and take on the demon, and just when things couldn't get crazier and the envelope couldn't get pushed further, these two idiots began to commit war crimes on each other every single week. You had a man who had no fear, and you had a man who had no problem committing mass murder every week. What could possibly go wrong? Shane came out that first week and
I ain't gonna lie, this was a crazy feud between Shane and Kane, bro. Like, it was a crazy ass feud, bro, between them, bro. Yeah, they have crazy moments, and they have crazy matches too. When Kane winning both matches, the ambulance match and the last man standing match. The last man first and the ambulance second.
It's a Kane, and he even
ended up throwing him off the stage, and after that, it was on. They booked this guy unlike anything we had ever seen before. He gets thrown off the stage, and it's like, it's fine, Shane, I'll see you next week. Because the next week, when Kane tries to get his revenge,
Kane was a demon, bro. He was a demon. Word too, like, he's a demon.
on Shane, he doesn't
throw him off a stage, he doesn't do a choke slam. No, the fun and games are over. He tries to kill Shane McMahon. No, like, genuinely tries to kill Shane McMahon. Yo, he takes him backstage to his dumpster, and all you see is this man with a bunch of gasoline tanks again, just pouring it out casually, like everything's fine, just another day at the office, let me just pour some gasoline in a dumpster, and next thing you know, there's fire everywhere in the dumpster. The dumpster becomes a fire pit, and this crackhead was going to put Shane McMahon into the pit of fire, because apparently tombstoning his mom wasn't enough. He was going to kill him on live TV and just set him on fire. But nah, Shane fights off, and next thing you know, Kane is the one who gets kicked into the fire, and he just tumbles in, and it's like, yo, what is going on? What kind of wrestling is this? Kane basically dies on TV, just gets burned alive, and it's like, alright, well, we finally reached a point where someone dies in wrestling. But nah, next week, Kane comes back like he's Michael Myers in Halloween 2, and he pulls up and he does the unthinkable to Shane. Like, as bad as it was setting Jim Ross on fire, as bad as it was choke slamming someone off the stage, the worst thing Kane ever did was what he did to Shane McMahon.
Oh yeah, I remember like
Crackhead, this monster, this just maniac pulled up to Raw the next week, attacks Shane during a little segment, and he ends up handcuffing Shane McMahon to the ring post. And this guy, he pulls out jumper cables and a battery. And on an episode of Raw, on what was supposed to be just a nice normal wrestling show, Kane electrocuted Shane's testicles. What the f?
To this day, this is one of the wildest things we had ever seen and ever will see at a wrestling show. A man getting tied to the ring post, getting his testes fried on live TV. Imagine being 6 years old and tuning into wrestling, and this is what you see. All you see is Kane just smiling as he does this. Shane's dying. It is the most random, one of the wildest things ever to happen at wrestling. And yo, honestly, when you see this, you're just like, how? How do you think of this? As the weeks went by, they continued their war crimes. They continued killing each other every single week. 1 week Shane would tweak and destroy Kane. 1 week Kane would destroy Shane. Shane was jumping off stages, jumping off top ropes into tables, but yo, it didn't matter. Kane could not be stopped. At one point, Shane even threw Kane into a car, put a brick on the gas pedal, and caused...
Oh yeah, I remember that, bro. Kane was bleeding everywhere, all his blood, bro, his face, his chest, all that, bro.
Kane to go full speed
into a tractor trailer, something that would have killed everyone and anyone in the car. But Kane would just not die. He just kept coming back every single week. It didn't matter. Burn him alive, a car crash, give him CTE, send him to the hospital every week. It didn't matter. He would just be at the hospital staff and pull up like nothing happened. And yo, the wild part was none of this seemed cheesy, none of this seemed cringe. Yo, this was terrifying. Like when Kane wakes up in the hospital, that is genuinely terrifying. And after months of all this going down, it all ended with Kane finally destroying Shane in an epic ambulance match at Survivor Series 03, leaving him a mess and just sending him to the hospital for good. And after all the mayhem, after all the destruction, Kane stood tall, and at this point was one of the most overpowered, most evil, most insane, one of the most awesome heels in wrestling history. In just 5 months, Kane went from ha ha ha, I'm Kane, woo, to I'm Kane, I'm gonna kill your whole family. And to top it all off, the same night he ended his feud with Shane, he ended that night by burying his brother, The Undertaker, alive. What a wild ride and what a transition. It came out of nowhere and instantly made Kane awesome again. Once he took off that mask, Raw became his show. He became terrifying again, and every week they were doing things we never thought we would see on a wrestling show, and it became more than wrestling. Like I said, it really became a crime thriller or like a slasher film. This was Silence of the Lambs meets Halloween meets WWE, and Kane absolutely crushed it. I was just a little too young to watch this live, but I remember watching this stuff on VHS later, watching on YouTube in 05, 06, and 07, and even all those years later, this stuff would creep me the hell out, and I know for sure all the kids that were watching during this time, they were definitely left traumatized. I definitely think it's one of the most underrated heel turns and runs of all time in my opinion. He had so much momentum, was red hot, literally, and at the end of the year, it is a shame that he didn't become World Heavyweight Champion, because honestly, to cap off his insane second half of the year, he no doubt should have been champion. It was only right, but it never happened. And after this, Kane, he was never the same. Kane slowly died down and faded into the background and eventually once again became just another wrestler. Yeah, he was cool in 05, 06, 07, but it wasn't the same. It didn't have that fire. But yo, these 6 months were so legendary and so special. It was unlike anything we had ever seen before or have since. No doubt one of the most evil runs in wrestling history. Kane in 2003 was the definition of evil, and it was awesome. What a time it was to be alive. Let me know down below in the comments if you guys have any memories of this run. It definitely was special going back to watch this, and I do recommend go back and watch this week to week. They handle this so nicely. It's your boy Pav, aka Wrestling Ifs. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope everything is good. And don't worry, the content is coming. I'm gonna pick up the pace. I got you guys.
Okay, that's the vid. So yeah, bro, let me know what y'all think about this KANE run in 2003. I ain't gonna lie, like, I was watching this back on YouTube, like, I'm watching clips of this back on YouTube, bro. I ain't gonna lie, KANE was a demon, bro. He did not care, bro. He choked some Rob Van Dam. He tombstone Linda McMahon. He electrocuted. You know, he shot shot Shane McMahon's private area. Damn, bro, he done mad shit, bro. He set Jim Ross on fire, set his leg on fire and all that. And yeah, bro, let me know. Yeah, bro, let me know what y'all think about this KANE run 2003 KANE, bro. Yeah, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the vibes. We're just checking out you ride.